Hey, welcome in. And 30-0. My, oh my, that feels a whole heck of a lot better than that bitter defeat feeling we had less than a week ago. A huge bounce back win for the Miami Dolphins over the New York Jets in complete and utter dominating fashion, 30-0. The Jets never even came close to sniffing the red zone, for goodness sakes. When you talk about a defense completely dominating an offense, you can put on this tape and say, this was the definition of a dominating win. The defense, play after play after play, imposed their will. And as a Dolphins fan, you really can't ask for much more. You see the stats on your screen right there. Tua was clean and was efficient. He did not turn the ball over, combined with how well the defense played. And this was kind of a snooze fest. I will not lie to you. That's how good the Dolphins played in just completely dominating their AFC East rival, the New York Jets. And the shutout, a little cherry on top there. First shutout in 3 years. And the last time the Dolphins defense got a shutout, it was also against the New York Jets. So 10-4 on the season. And how about Jaylen Waddle? No Tyreek Hill, so you knew Jaylen Waddle would need to step up, and step up he did. 8 receptions, 142 yards with the 1 touchdown. Raheem Mostert is just a magnet to the end zone. 2 more touchdowns. He leads the NFL in that category with 18 touchdowns. Really impressive there. And like I said, Tua took care of the ball. And on the other end, Zach Wilson played the first half, left with dehydration late in the second quarter. Then it was Trevor Siemian, but it didn't matter who the Jets trotted out there at quarterback. This Dolphins defense dominated. So my one-word reaction is really simple, but I want to hear from you. Let me know in the comments what your one-word reaction to this 30-0 victory for the Dolphins is. And I'm not even going to get creative here, so apologies in advance, but I'm just going with domination. That's what it was. That's what we needed to see, and that's exactly what we saw at home against an AFC East divisional opponent in an important game. I call it a must-win game because you look at the Dolphins' remaining schedule. This was the one you had to get, and I love the expression, leave no doubt, because the Dolphins left absolutely zero doubt on either side of the ball, and throw in some excellent special teams play there as well. The Jets tried a fake punt early in this game. The Dolphins punt coverage team was all over it, failed fake punt. They were 3 for 3 on field goals, and albeit they were mostly relatively easy chip shot field goals, but you still give a credit to Jason Sanders and the field goal unit there. And again, just in every aspect of this game, the Dolphins were clean, they were efficient, and they executed at a high level. And in return, you get a 30-0 win. So let's break it down. Our instant reaction, and anytime the defense posts a shutout, I'm going to go right away with the defense. That's my number one takeaway from this one. They dominated. The yards per play, that's not a typo. That's not a misprint. Less than 2 yards per play, 103 total yards from this Jets offense. They had 4 yards at halftime. You can't make this stuff up. Defensively, in all aspects, the Miami Dolphins defense checked every box. Vic Fangio had them ready to go despite missing several important starters. The Dolphins were down 9 starters in this game, several of them in the secondary, but it didn't matter. 2 interceptions for Brandon Jones, played really well, and 2 forced fumbles by Bradley Chubb. One of them recovered by Bradley Chubb, one of them recovered by Zach Zeeler. But any way you slice it, this was a dominating performance for the Miami Dolphins to get their 10th win of the season. And speaking of Bradley Chubb, he's my player of the game today. And I was a little bit tough on Bradley Chubb following Monday night's loss, because I just hated seeing that egregious helmet slam penalty at such an important part of the game. Bradley Chubb took accountability for it post-game, and most importantly, the next opportunity he had, he backed it up on the field, and he let his pads do the talking, and he started the game with a bang. In the very beginning of the first quarter, he forced that fumble that was recovered by Zach Zeeler. The Dolphins get the ball at the 1-yard line, and they score a few plays later. That set the tone, and Bradley Chubb proved today why you make that huge trade in a couple of years ago to bring him to Miami, why you give up so much draft capital to get a game-changing player like Bradley Chubb. Shout out to number 2. He was incredible. Look at the numbers. 7 tackles, 3 sacks, 3 quarterback hits, and, of course, the 2 forced fumbles, one of them that he recovered as well. So Bradley Chubb, you get my game ball today, my friend, especially on the defensive side. He was incredible. Coming up, we've got more to get to on this dominating performance by the Miami Dolphins. But right now, I got to give a huge shout out to our post-game sponsor, and that is Factor, which is America's #1 meal delivery service. And now is the time, folks. Listen up, listen good, dial it in, because it's the holiday season, which means we are all busy. Our schedules are jam-packed, so you're probably looking for nutritious, flavorful meals to help fuel you up on those jam-packed days, and that's where Factor comes in, baby. America's #1 ready-to-eat meal delivery service. They can help you eat well, not just for dinner, but for breakfast and lunch as well. I'm telling you guys, they got great breakfast options, lunch options, smoothies, juices, you name it, all ready to eat, ready to drink, delivered straight to your door, so you'll save time and you'll stay on track with your healthy lifestyle, all while tackling your holiday to-dos. So we've got enough on our to-do list as it is. Here's some things you can cross off. Meal prepping, food prepping, chopping the food, grocery shopping, cleaning up, all of that. Cross it off your list because you can get Factor meals delivered straight to your door, and they're ready to eat in just 2 minutes. So all you have to do is heat and enjoy. So head to factormeals.com/FinzChat50. Use code FinzChat50 to get 50% off. That's code FinzChat50 at factormeals.com/FinzChat50 to get 50% off. And you know we love you and we care about you. So we'll put that link right in the comments of today's video. All you have to do is click and you are there. Factormeals.com/FinzChat50 for 50% off. Now, prior to the beginning of this game, the inactive report came out, and there were some major concerns with the amount of players that were out in this game. None more concerning than Tyreek Hill. Obviously, it's not long-term. It's stemming from the ankle injury he suffered against the Titans on Monday Night Football. But Tyreek Hill was out of this game. That means Jaylen Waddle had an opportunity to step up, and boy, did he make the most of it. Far and away, his best game of the season. And look, we're not surprised. We know Jaylen Waddle is an elite receiver in this league, but when you're playing on the other side of Tyreek Hill, sometimes your touches are going to be a little bit limited. That's part of the game. And so with Jaylen Waddle breaking out in this game, it was such a healthy, refreshing reminder of how good Jaylen Waddle is as well. 8 receptions, 142 yards. He had the big play, the 60-yard touchdown reception that helped kind of break this game open. But my offensive game ball goes to Jaylen Waddle for how well he played from the receiver position, shook off kind of an early injury that he got the wind knocked out of him, and showed how tough of a competitor he is. He also made some huge third down catches, which was you could tell that Jaylen Waddle was Tua's safety blanket out there, which is a huge compliment to Jaylen Waddle stepping up in the absence of Tyreek Hill. Now, I want you to grade the Dolphins' performance versus the Jets. And I know a lot of people will say, hey, it was the Jets. But we learned Monday night the very tough lesson of any given Sunday or any given Monday night. Anybody can beat anybody in this league. And although the Dolphins had the advantage on paper, with 9 starters out, you started to see that spread get less and less and less. So the experts thought this was going to be a close game. The Dolphins went out and dominated. I give them a legit A for their performance today. Offense was clean. Defense played their tails off. Special teams was excellent. In all 3 phases of the game, I give this Dolphins team an A. Let me know what you give them down below in the comments. When you play as well as the Dolphins did today, and I know I'm fired up, but it's an instant reaction video. That's what's going to happen. It's a statement team win. Offense, defense, special teams. I don't want to sound like a broken record, but when you execute as well as they did in all 3 phases, it makes a statement to the rest of the league. The only gripe I have with this Dolphins team were the penalties, which we'll get to in a second. But look at the numbers on your screen there. You see the offense play well. We told you about how great the defense was. Tua had a great bounce-back game, even without his favorite Tyreek Hill. And I think there's a lot of narratives around this team. Oh, they can't beat good teams. They're nothing without Tyreek Hill. I think that they're not physical. I think the Dolphins squashed a lot of those narratives today, which is a credit to the Aqua and Orange. A credit to Mike McDaniel rallying his team after a short week, after a heartbreaking loss, all to put forth this effort today, which was really impressive in a 30-0 win. So shout out to the Miami Dolphins. Now, last but certainly not least, Raheem Mostert. 2 touchdowns on the day. He played extremely well. You got to give him a lot of credit as well. But my one little, and it has nothing to do with Raheem, so nothing against Raheem Mostert, but you know me, I'm going to find something to be nitpicky about. One little thing where just too many penalties. 9 penalties as a team. You got to clean that up a little bit. That's what kept the Dolphins from an A-plus performance. Now, some of them were kind of, weaker penalties, if you will. Nothing that really cost this Dolphins team anything, but I don't like to see the number 9 next to the team stats penalties. So that's my one grief, but other than that, excellent performance by the Miami Dolphins. Give them an A. Let me know what you think of the performance in the comments. And lastly, I want to give a huge shout out to every single person that's subscribed to this channel. We're bringing you daily Dolphins content every day. We're bringing you live watch parties, breaking news videos when it happens, shorts, long form, everything in between, live watch parties. If you love the Dolphins, this is the place for you, and I'm fired up to continue to follow the Aqua and Orange. We've got a fun stretch down the final 3 games of the regular season. First, with that game against the Cowboys. Then a huge one against Baltimore before the Dolphins close out the season against the Bills. Come along for the ride. Subscribe to the channel now. We're bringing you daily Dolphins content. We love the Fins. Go Fins. Fins up 30-0 winners over the Jets in Week 15 of the NFL.